The girl with silver eyes. The rain poured down as students rushed into Novaterra High School. Backpacks over heads, boots splashing through puddles. No one expected anything special that day. It was just another morning. Or so they thought. Suddenly, a loud hum filled the air. A sleek silver alien shuttle descended onto the school's parking lot. It didn't land with fire or drama, just a soft whoosh as it touched down. The students froze. Some pointed, some laughed, some stared. The shuttle door opened with a smooth hiss. From inside, a tall girl stepped out. She wasn't human. Her skin shimmered like polished pearl. Her long hair glowed faintly blue at the tips. And her eyes were pure silver like twin moons. She looked calm, but her hands were tight at her sides. "She's the ambassador's daughter," someone whispered. The crowd parted as Principal Reynolds walked up to her with a nervous smile. "Welcome, Elira. We're honored to have you at Novaterra." Elira nodded gently. Her voice came through a small device on her collar. "Thank you. I hope I learn well here, but not everyone was happy." "Great. Now aliens are taking our schools too?" a boy muttered. "Did you see her eyes?" "Creepy," another whispered. Elira heard them. Her translator picked up every word, even the ones meant to be quiet. She blinked, slowly, and turned away. Inside the school, she walked through the hallways as students stared. Some took photos, some whispered, some just moved aside like she carried a virus. Her classroom was room 304. She entered quietly. The teacher, Mr. Halden, smiled and motioned her to a seat near the window. Elira sat down. She noticed the human boy beside her was staring, but not in a mean way. His name was Leo. He gave her a small nod. She didn't smile back, but she noticed. At lunch, Elira didn't eat. She only sat alone at the far corner of the cafeteria, scanning a digital book on her tablet. No one came close. Then it got worse. At her locker, number 327, she found a note inside. It was folded roughly and written by hand. The letters were thick and angry. "Go back to your planet, freak," she looked around. No one was watching. No one looked guilty. Elira didn't cry, but her hands trembled slightly as she crumpled the note and put it in her bag. Leo had seen it happen from across the hall. He didn't say anything. Yet. Later, in science class, the teacher paired everyone for a group project. "Leo and Elira," the teacher said. Some kids chuckled. One whispered, "Good luck, Leo." They sat together at the lab table. Leo tried to start small talk. Do you like science?" Elira tilted her head. "I am science." Leo smiled. "Guess that's a yes." Slowly she softened. She told him she came from a world called Syra Prime, where students were trained for diplomacy from childhood. She had never been to a human school before. "It is loud," she said. "And messy." Leo laughed. "That's humans for you." Just when it felt like things might get better, something happened. In the middle of class, Elira took out a small orb from her bag. It was glowing and spinning slowly. She touched it to scan the room's air quality. It was harmless. But a sensor in the room beeped and red lights flashed. "Warning, foreign tech detected." Students screamed. The teacher panicked. "Put it away," someone shouted. It's just a scanner," Elira said, trying to explain. But it was too late. Security was called. The class was evacuated. Leo stood beside her. She didn't do anything wrong, but the others didn't care. That night, back in her small room in the ambassador's home, Elira sat alone. She stared at her silver reflection in the mirror. "This world is loud," she whispered to herself, "and cruel." Outside, lightning flashed again. The next morning, the sky was still gray. Novaterra High felt colder than before. Not because of the weather, but because of the silence around Elira. No one spoke to her. No one sat beside her. Some students turned away when she passed. Some stared like she was a walking threat. She moved quietly, trying not to make eye contact. Her silver eyes flicked, from face to face looking for kindness but finding none. Then she reached her locker. Locker 327. Yesterday, it held a hateful note. Today, something was different. The deep scratches from last night were still there. Someone had carved strange symbols into the metal. But tucked just behind the vent was a small, flat box, almost hidden. She looked around. No one was watching. Elira took the box out and opened it carefully. Inside was a folded paper with a single line written in careful handwriting. "Not everyone here hates you. Don't give up." There was no name, no signature. For the first time since arriving on Earth, Elira smiled. Just a little. That smile didn't last long. In homeroom, someone threw a small balled-up paper at her back. Whispers followed. Laughter. Elira didn't turn around, but Leo saw everything. After class, he caught up to her. "Hey," he said, breathless. "You okay?" Elira looked at him. "Why would I not be?" Leo frowned. "I saw what they did. That's not okay. I mean, not all of us are like that." Elira stared at him. "I know," she said softly. "You wrote the note." Leo's eyes widened. "What? No, wait, what note?" Now Elira was confused. "The note in my locker. The one that said, 'Not everyone hates me.'" Leo shook his head. "I didn't write that, but I wish I had." There was a moment of silence between them. Then the bell rang. After school, Leo and Elira sat together in the library to start their science project. Other students kept glancing over, whispering. A few snickered. One girl pointed. Elira ignored them. Leo didn't. "They act like you're a monster," he said. "It's not right." Elira looked up from the tablet. "I am different." That is enough for them. She tapped the screen, showing a 3D model of a molecular engine. "This is what we use to power our city domes on Syra Prime. My people call it a Lemora core. I think your world could use this." Leo leaned closer. "That's incredible." Suddenly, the lights flickered, then the alarm blared again. "Security alert, unauthorized alien tech detected in library." "Oh no," Leo whispered. Security guards rushed in. The librarian screamed. Students scattered. Elira stood up calmly and held her hands out. "It is just a model. I brought no active technology." But no one listened. She was surrounded again. Just like yesterday. The guards didn't touch her, but the message was clear. "You are not welcome." Leo tried to step between them. "Stop. She didn't do anything wrong." One of the guards gave him a hard look. "Stand down, student." Principal Reynolds arrived. He sighed, tired. "Elira, perhaps it's best if you leave your alien devices at home. Just try to follow human rules." Elira said nothing. She slowly packed her things and walked out. That evening, at the ambassador's residence, Elira sat on the rooftop, watching the night sky. The city lights below were sharp and golden, but the stars above reminded her of home. Her planet was quieter, kinder, at least for her. Suddenly, a soft beep came from her pocket. It was her data pad. One new message. "They don't understand you yet, but I do. Meet me near the garden wall tomorrow before school. I'll bring something. You miss." Again, no name. But now she had two questions. Who was the secret friend? And what would they bring? Elira looked up at the stars. For the first time in days, her heart beat with curiosity, instead of fear. Before the sun rose, Elira stood at the edge of the school's garden wall. The school was still quiet. The wind was soft. She looked around carefully. Then she saw him, Leo, walking toward her with a cloth-covered tray in his hands. He smiled nervously. "You said you miss things from your world, right?" She tilted her head. "Yes." Leo pulled the cloth off the tray. "Well, I tried to copy the picture from your datapad. I made it last night. On the tray sat a small bowl of glowing blue fruit slices, made from earth fruit but painted to look like Elira's favorite dish from Syra Prime. "They're not real Kalura berries," he said quickly, "but I read they glow like that in your festivals, so I used harmless glow syrup." Elira stared. Her silver eyes widened. She didn't speak for a moment. Then softly she said, "They look perfect." She reached down, touched one gently, and smiled. "This is the first kind thing someone has done for me here." Leo looked away, shy. "I just wanted to say, you're not alone." That morning, something changed. Elira laughed, for the first time. Later, in science class, their project began properly. They were given 2 weeks to build a working energy model that represented a clean source of power. Most students planned to use solar or wind, but Elira had a different idea. "We'll make a small version of the Lemora core," she told Leo. "If we succeed, your teachers will see our worlds can work together." Leo blinked. "Can you really make alien tech here?" Elira grinned slightly. "Not exactly, but I can teach you how to simulate it, using your tools." She handed him a small crystal. "This is a replica. Not dangerous." They worked during lunch, after class, even before school. Students kept staring. Some laughed, but others were growing, curious. They saw Leo and Elira working, laughing, even joking like regular classmates. A girl named Marcy from their class walked up one day and asked, "So, how does it glow like that?" Elira turned. "Would you like to help us solder the base?" Marcy hesitated, then nodded. Soon others began coming too, not many, but enough. Walls were beginning to break, but peace never lasts long. The school's technology monitor system, the ScanNet, sent another alert. A week into their project, as Elira adjusted a circuit, a loud buzz echoed through the lab. "Warning, unknown energy signature detected." Elira's eyes widened. "No, it's not active. It's just a model." The lights turned red again. Sirens blared. Students backed away in panic. One of them shouted, "She's doing it again. Get her. Out." Leo stood beside her. "It's not her fault. We tested it 5 times. But the panic spread like fire. Principal Reynolds rushed in with 2 security officers. "What's going on here?" A teacher pointed at the glowing crystal. "That's not Earth tech." Elira held the crystal up, her hand steady. "It is only glowing from reflected light, no radiation, no danger." The room went silent. Then a student named Trevor sneered, "Even if it's safe now, what about next time? What if she blows up the school?" That was it. The principal closed the lab and told Elira, "You're suspended from the science fair." "Until we review this," Leo shouted. "That's not fair." But no one listened. Elira walked out without a word. That night she didn't eat. She didn't read. She only sat on her bed, staring at the half-finished project pieces in her bag. Then, her door buzzed. It was Leo. She opened it slowly. "You should not be here." "I don't care," he said. "You didn't do anything wrong." He stepped inside, carrying a box. "I brought everything," he said. "Let's finish it. If the school won't let us show it, we'll show it to the world." Elira looked at him. "Why do you care?" He shrugged. "Because you do. And I want to see what it looks like. The real version, the one from your world." Elira sat beside him, and for hours they built, not for grades, not for praise, but for understanding. At midnight, their model was finished. It was small, it was glowing, it was beautiful, and it was powered by Earth tools, shaped by alien ideas, and built by 2 students, one human, one not, who refused to stop believing. The next day, Nova Terra High felt different. Elira walked through the hall with her head slightly higher than before. She wasn't smiling, but something in her steps felt steadier, firmer. Leo walked beside her, carrying the project box. They had finished it, together, and they were going to show it, whether the school allowed it or not. But as they entered the building, they stopped. A large photo had been printed and taped on the hallway wall. In the center of it was Elira, holding the glowing crystal from yesterday's project. Around her the words, "Alien threat? Look what she's hiding." Below the picture, someone had scrawled in red marker, "How long before she destroys us all?" A group of students stood nearby snickering. Elira stood still. Her silver eyes scanned the image. She didn't say a word. Leo ripped the poster down angrily. "Who did this?" More laughter. "Guess someone doesn't like aliens doing science experiments in our school," one boy said. Elira turned to leave. Leo called out, "Where are you going?" "To class," she said quietly. "They want me to run. I will not." In the classroom, the seat next to Elira was empty. Leo sat near her. He noticed students shifting their chairs away. Even the teacher didn't greet her today. When Elira answered a question correctly, no one clapped like they usually did. When she raised her hand, the teacher often ignored her. During break, she went to the cafeteria. But today, it was worse than before. A tray of food had been left at her usual table. On top of it, someone had placed a pile of fake worms and a sticky note that read, "For the alien freak, bon appétit." Everyone nearby laughed. She didn't touch the tray. She didn't look around. She simply walked to a corner and sat alone. Leo joined her, furious. "This is too much," he whispered. "I'll go to the principal." Elira shook her head. "And then what? They will call it a prank. They will warn someone quietly. And tomorrow it will happen again." Leo looked at her. "Then what do we do?" She turned her eyes toward him. Those strange, soft, silver eyes. "We finish the project," she said, "and we let it speak for us." That afternoon, Leo posted a short video online. It showed their glowing model in action. It explained how Elira used Earth tools without danger to simulate her people's Lumora core. In the background, her voice said softly, "Your world is loud, but your energy is still so quiet. Together we can fix that." Leo didn't add his name. He didn't mention school. He just let the project shine. He thought nothing of it, until the next morning. The video had gone viral. Thousands of views, hundreds of comments. Some were ugly, some cruel, but many were amazed. "Is this real alien tech? Who is this girl? She's not even human and she's smarter than all of us. This is what peace looks like." The school couldn't ignore it, neither could the press. By the next school day, a news van parked outside Nova Terra High. Reporters waited at the gate. They wanted to meet the silver-eyed alien girl who tried to help. Elira stepped out of her father's official transport. The crowd rushed in. "Elira, do you feel safe at school? Why did you come here, really? Do you trust humans?" She looked at them, nervous, wide-eyed, and said only one thing, "I trusted one." That was enough. Inside the school, some students stared. Some still laughed, but others were silent. Some even nodded at her. A few smiled. In the back of the hallway, Marcy quietly slipped another note into Elira's locker. This time it simply read, "I'm sorry, I was scared, but I believe you now." Elira folded the paper slowly, then placed it gently in her pocket. Maybe not all walls fall at once, but even one crack is a start. That night, as she walked to the rooftop again, Leo was already waiting, there with 2 mugs of warm tea. "How does it feel?" he asked. "To be exposed?" she said, sitting beside him. "To be isolated?" He nodded. She smiled softly. "It feels like the first part of something better." The next morning, Nova Terra High was louder than usual. But this time, it wasn't because of jokes, whispers, or fear. It was the sound of humans standing. Dozens of students gathered near the front steps holding handmade signs. Some read, "Let her speak." "Science has no species." "We stand with Elira." Leo stood in the center, holding up a glowing replica of their project's crystal core. Elira, standing near the edge of the crowd, watched silently. She had never seen humans protest before. Not like this. Not for her. It all started the night before. After Leo's video went viral, students began talking. At first in whispers, then in loud debates. Some still doubted her, but many started to see her differently. In secret group chats and message boards, students organized a protest. Marcy, one of the first to mock Elira, sent a message to Leo. She deserves to finish the project, even if the school doesn't want her to. By morning, students had signs. Some wore glowing stickers that looked like Elira's crystal. A few teachers said nothing. One even nodded in support. Inside the school, Principal Reynolds paced, nervously. He called security. He called the district. He called Elira's father, the alien ambassador himself. "We need to end this," the principal said quickly. "It's causing chaos." The ambassador replied calmly, "Then listen to your children. Sometimes they are wiser than adults." Outside, Leo stepped up onto the bench. He raised his voice. "My name is Leo Carson. I'm just a student. I don't speak for Earth, but I do speak for fairness." The crowd quieted. Elira came here not to take anything from us, but to learn with us. She shared knowledge that could help our world, and instead of support, she was met with hate. He held up their science model. "This crystal core doesn't run on alien power. It runs on cooperation. We made it together, with human hands and alien heart." Students clapped. He finished, "We may be from different stars, but kindness needs no translation." The crowd roared with applause. Elira didn't move. She was frozen, tears shining in her silver eyes. No translator was needed for what she felt. Later, that afternoon, a special school meeting was held. Parents, teachers, even members of the Earth-Syra Council were present. Cameras rolled. Principal Reynolds cleared his throat nervously. "Today we are here to review the events surrounding student Elira's project and her participation in the science fair." Before he could continue, one of the teachers stood up. It was Ms. Tanaka, the robotics coach. "I've seen a lot of projects in my life," she said, "but never one that united this many students." She looked at Elira. "You reminded us why we teach, not to divide minds, but to bring them together." Others nodded. Some parents stood, a few clapped. Then the ambassador spoke. "My daughter came here to understand your people. What she found was both pain and promise, and through it all, one human stood beside her." He turned to Leo. "For that, my people are grateful." That evening, something unexpected happened. The school announced a new showcase, a special presentation for the entire city. Elira and Leo would be the first to speak, not just about science, but about hope. Back home, Elira sat quietly in her room staring at her project model. Leo sat beside her on the floor, surrounded by tools and wires. "You okay?" he asked. She nodded. "I never expected this." He smiled. "What? The protest?" She looked at him. "No, that a human would fight for me." Leo chuckled. "Well, you kind of grew on us." She tilted her head. "Like a parasite?" Leo laughed harder. No, like a friend." She paused, then smiled. "Yes," she said softly. "That word, I like it." Outside, the school walls were still covered in notes, posters, and paper hearts from students. But the biggest sign of all hung near locker 327, painted in bold letters, "Elira, you belong here." The science showcase was only 2 days away. Inside the school's empty tech lab, Leo adjusted a wire while Elira examined the crystal core. They had tested it 5 times. It glowed perfectly now, soft blue light pulsing like a quiet heartbeat. But something was wrong. Leo winced, holding his arm. His sleeve was torn, skin scraped underneath. Elira noticed instantly. "What happened?" she asked, voice calm but sharp. "Yesterday," Leo said, trying to shrug it off. "One of the older students shoved me, said I was one of the alien lovers. I didn't fight back." Elira stepped closer. "Why didn't you tell anyone?" "Didn't want to worry you," he muttered. Elira knelt beside him and pulled a small silvery patch from her pocket. "Let me help." "It's just a scratch. This is not just for pain," she said. "It heals." She gently placed the alien patch over his wound. The soft metal sank into his skin like warm jelly. Within seconds, the raw skin closed. The pain faded. Leo stared. "That felt amazing." Elira smiled. "We don't only build weapons, Leo. My people build medicine too." He looked at her for a long moment. "You're full of surprises." Elira looked away, quiet now. "There is still much I haven't said." Leo waited. And then, she told him. "When I came to Earth," she said, "it was not just to attend school." Leo blinked. "Wait, what do you mean?" "My father is part of the Galactic Council. Earth is being observed, watched." "For what?" "For readiness," Elira said. "To see if your species is ready to join the larger galaxy." Leo's eyes widened. "So this whole school thing, it was a test?" "Not for me," she replied. "For you." Leo leaned back, stunned. "And what did you find?" Elira looked into his eyes. "I found fear, anger, cruelty." Leo looked, down, ashamed. "But," she added softly, "I also found kindness, courage, friendship." She held out the glowing crystal. "This is powered by our worlds together. That is what matters." The next day, Nova Terra High was buzzing again. News, channels, diplomats, scientists, all coming for the showcase. Some students still looked unsure. Some still whispered, but no one dared touch Elira now. At her locker, she found a new note. No insults, no threats, just one line written neatly. "Sorry I was wrong. You taught us more than any teacher ever did." She folded it and placed it inside her book. Backstage at the auditorium, Leo paced nervously. "I can't believe I'm speaking to ambassadors and Earth leaders," he muttered. "You spoke to me," Elira said. "That was harder," he laughed. "You were scary at first." "I still am." They both smiled. Then the curtain opened. It was time. Under the bright lights, Leo and Elira stood side by side. Behind them, their glowing model floated quietly, surrounded by diagrams, images of Syra Prime, and photos of their journey. Leo stepped forward. "My name is Leo Carson. I'm a student, and this is my friend, Elira." Elira stepped up next to him. Her translator hummed softly. "When I came to your world," she said, "I didn't know what to expect, but I learned that humans, though loud and chaotic, carry something powerful inside them. Hope," Leo added. They looked at each other. Then together they said, "We built this together, and we believe Earth is ready." The auditorium erupted in applause. Cameras flashed. Reporters shouted questions, but none of that mattered, because at that moment, Earth didn't feel far from the stars. That night, Elira sat on the school rooftop again, her crystal core glowing beside her. Leo joined her, 2 cups of tea in hand. "So, what now?" he asked. "I send my report," she said. "And then, we wait." "Wait for what?" "For a door," she whispered, "to open." Leo looked up at the sky. Millions of stars blinked overhead, and somewhere among them, the future waited. A week after the showcase, Elira stood in the middle of her father's garden. The wind blew softly through the glowing trees planted from Syra Prime. The petals shimmered like light dust, falling gently at her feet. She held her data pad tight in both hands. A message had arrived from the Galactic Council. Her heart pounded. Final observation complete. Earth. Status. Eligible for contact. Recommendation. Pending your voice, Elira. Her voice. Her choice. She looked up at the stars, silent for a long time, then she turned and walked toward the school. That morning at Nova Terra High, nothing seemed special. No protests, no flashing cameras, just students talking, walking, eating, laughing, normal things. But as Leo stepped into class, He saw something taped to the whiteboard. All students, please report to the auditorium at noon for an important message from the Sierra ambassador's daughter. He froze. Elira hadn't told him anything about it. He looked over. She was already seated, calm, focused, and smiling, just a little. At noon, the lights dimmed. The entire school, students, staff, parents, guests, sat waiting. Then Elira stepped onto the stage, alone. She wore the formal robes of Sierra Prime, glowing silver lines across soft navy fabric, her silver eyes shining brighter than ever. She spoke with no translator this time, only her real voice, calm, strong, clear. I came to your world not to judge but to learn, she said. I saw your best. I saw your worst, and I stayed because I saw your truth, she paused. You fear what is different, but you also protect it. You fight, but you also forgive. You fall, but you always stand again. Leo sat frozen. Every word felt like lightning in his chest. Elira lifted her datapad. I sent my report to the Galactic Council. Gasps filled the room, and this morning, I received their answer. She tapped the pad. The wall behind her lit up with a glowing symbol, a circle of stars, a human hand, an alien hand, interlocked. Earth, accepted into Galactic Council, probationary status. The crowd went silent. Then it erupted, cheering, clapping. Students jumped to their feet. Principal Reynolds looked like he might faint. Leo stood, stunned, smiling wider than he ever had before. Elira continued, It will begin with small exchanges. Shared knowledge, peaceful contact, step by step. She paused, eyes scanning the crowd. And Earth's first student ambassador will be Leo Carson. The room exploded. Leo's jaw dropped. Wait, what? Elira smiled gently. You stood by me when no one else did. You believed before anyone else believed in themselves. She stepped down from the stage and walked toward him. He stood up, still stunned. She handed him a small pin. It shimmered with both Sierra and Earth's emblems. You've already started building bridges, she said. Now, walk across them. That night, Elira stood beside the ship that brought her to Earth. But now it wasn't just hers. Leo stood beside her, suitcase in hand, still looking like he couldn't believe what was happening. You sure about this? He asked. She looked up. I'm sure about you. The hatch opened. A new chapter was waiting. Together they stepped inside. The ship rose slowly, silent and smooth. Below, the school, the city, the planet grew smaller. Above, the stars, millions of them, endless and waiting. Final scene. Back. In the school hallway, locker 327 had been repainted. No scratches, no insults. Just one simple message now. First contact began here.